everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a Beltane recipe for honey cake. What you're going to need is 4 eggs at room temperature. Make sure all your ingredients are at room temperature. 3/4 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of honey, 3 tablespoons of sweetened condensed milk. Now if you don't have condensed milk, you can use you can actually make your own. So you take 1 cup of, or 1.5 cup of sugar and 1 can of evaporated milk and boil it for a couple minutes and then let it cool and stir in a tablespoon or a teaspoon of vanilla, and you can make that yourself. So, but it's best to just go with the condensed milk because it's cheap. And then 2 tablespoons of butter softened. And then you mix, you separate your eggs, your egg whites and your yolks. So in one bowl you're going to do the 4 yolks mixed with 1/2 cup of sugar, and then you mix it until it looks like this. And then you do the egg whites in a separate bowl, and let me beat these and I'll show you what they're supposed to look like. Okay, this is what your egg whites should look like. They should have, you dip it down in, and they should have stiff peaks like that. So let me, hold on one second. Let me put you back in the, okay, set you back in the tripod. Okay, you guys, this is not going, hold on. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is get, let's see, 3/4 cup of flour. So I just use the regular gold medal all-purpose flour. And you want to sift it into your, let's see, you sift it into, okay, separate the whites from the yolk. Whip egg whites for 5 minutes or until stiff peaks form. In another bowl, whip yolks and sugar for 3 minutes. Mix in the honey, butter, and condensed milk. So let's do that part. So we've got the honey. So we need 3 tablespoons of honey. Now, a trick to get honey out of this really easily, or out of your spoon really easily, well, if you had some cooking spray, you could use that, but I don't have cooking spray. I only have this vegetable oil, so I'm just going to line this, don't worry, my fingers are clean. Line this with oil. And then we're going to do 3 tablespoons of honey. So I tried that whipped coffee recipe the other day, and I'll tell you, that stuff was really, really tasty. So I'll put you guys right here. 1. This is the first year that I've made this Beltane recipe. I've made other recipes related to pagan holidays, but I've never made honey cake. One, I'm not a fan of honey, so I usually don't use it in recipes, but this is such a little amount. What are you doing, Allison? This is such a little amount that you probably won't even be able to taste it in there.
Fluffy.
Those egg whites.
I can tell.
Can you grab me that butter over there? Let's get all this honey out of here.
I kind of don't like honey that much. It's too sweet.
Oh, that's a lie. You love honey.
Not that much anymore. I used to love it a lot. I used to eat it in the middle of the night until it got too sweet for me.
Okay, and then you're going to need your 2 tablespoons of butter. So, 1, 2. you just drop that in there. And then it said, and the condensed milk. And they need 3 tablespoons of condensed milk. This homemade condensed milk. So 3 tablespoons of this stuff. Which this is the, I didn't have condensed milk, so I had to make my own with sugar, evaporated milk, and vanilla.
Wait, you got the evaporated milk from the store?
No, I already had evaporated milk. 1, make sure that says 3. Condensed milk, yeah, 3 tablespoons.
Trace.
And then I'm going to save that so I can have that for other recipes if I need it.
Mom, remember the pickles?
Yeah, those are gross.
You thought mine was going to be good.
Well, I mean, usually regular pickles are pretty good.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, it was really bad. Okay. Now you preheat the oven to 325. Excuse me. You preheat the oven to 325 and you keep it in there for 45 to 55 minutes. I'm not too sure on the pan size that you need because it didn't say in the directions. But I guess we shall figure that out. Sis, go in there and do your thing while I'm doing this. You don't need me in the background dancing. Okay, I'm going to mix this up and then I'll be right back. Okay, that's all mixed up and it should basically look the same. It's nice and thick. It smells like honey. So let's go over here and see what else we need. Okay. Sift flour into yolk, mix, and then mix well. So we're going to do 3/4 cup of flour sifted into our thing, our bowl.
Mom.
Huh? Oh, hey.
You're welcome. I heard sift. I'm like,
I forgot I bought this thing the other day, and I was about to use my old sifter.
I heard sift. I'm like,
Yes. I was about to use that old one, thank goodness.
you're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, I bought that Pioneer Woman sifter from Walmart like last week sometime, so this is the first time I'm going to use it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot quicker than having to sit there and pound the side of the sifter. Some still get stuck there. Oh, getting stuck on the sides, but that's still a lot better.
Faster, too.
So 1, 2. Now with these honey cakes, a lot of people leave them outside for nature spirits in the garden, for offerings. You can put them on your, you can like feed them to the local wildlife, or you can just eat them yourself. I mean, usually when I put some outside, it's like literally very small amounts because I'm not about to like waste a bunch of food. But these can be enjoyed with like tea or coffee. It's almost like the consistency of a pound cake is what I get from the picture and the description of it. It looks like almost like a lighter version of a pound cake. Which, if you're interested in pound cake, I do have a recipe for pound cake on my channel as well, so you can look that up. Or I have a recipe for banana bread. One of my great loves in life is baking. I remember I have really good memories of when me and my mom, she used to bake things when I was a little kid. As I got older, it got a lot more sparse when she'd do things like that, but she taught me how to make, I think the first recipe I remembered how to, like I actually remembered, was cream cheese frosting. So This thing is very, very handy. It's so pretty too. Okay, I'm gonna mix this in and then I'll be right back. Okay, now it's kind of thick and sticky with the flour in it now. And so the last part of the recipe, you take the, hold on one second. You take the egg whites that are all nice and fluffy, and these look like they need to, well, they're fine. You do them in thirds. So you take it, third of the mixture, and you want to fold it very carefully into the other mix. It's important that you fold, so the way you fold is like this. You cross down from under like that. And you just keep going around until it's all mixed together. And that keeps the air in the egg whites, because that's the whole point of mixing the egg whites like that, is to aerate them so they become light and fluffy. And if you just go in there and like just start mixing it up, it's going to deflate all of the egg whites and all that work you did. So you want to just carefully fold it all in. So for tonight, for Beltane, if it doesn't rain, which it is calling for rain, but I hope it doesn't rain, because then it's just going to throw off like me and Allison's whole plan for tonight. Usually on Beltane or around this time, I do a fire, and we'll do like s'mores and stuff like that, but the fire is more like a ritual fire. I take all of my old herbs that have been sitting in my cabinets and in jars for the last year, because you don't want to keep herbs for more than a year because they just get stale. So I'll take all of my old herbs and I will go burn them in the ritual fire, and then you just jump over it for a cleansing. So that's what our plan is for tonight. If it does not rain, if it does rain, then we'll just put it off for a different day. But we're still going to make s'mores. I'll figure out a way to make s'mores, even if we have to do it inside. Okay, so these egg whites are looking a tad bit watery. I think I let them sit for too long, but they should be okay. So this looks like it should fill a loaf pan. So just a standard loaf pan will work. And usually you want to grease and flour your pan, but I just use this stuff. It's Baker's Joy baking spray with flour, so it's just a one-time deal. You don't have to get the flour out and all that stuff. I don't know, is it gonna work? Guess not. Y'all, this thing is broken. So we're gonna have to get the Crisco out. Every time I get Crisco out, you know what I think of? Have you guys ever seen that movie, The Help? Where she's, that maid is showing that white woman how to cook. And she goes, "You want to soften your husband's scaly feet? Crisco." I like that movie. It's kind of hard to watch, though, because it's a lot of racial things, but it just shows how horribly just the horrible accuracy of that movie is just makes me glad I don't live in that kind of time, because I would be knocking people out left and right if I heard people talk the way they used to talk. Anyway, so let's get this all mixed in. fold all these egg whites in so they're nice and incorporated. Okay, so this is what it should look like. And then you want to pour your batter into your greased dish. Oh. Kind of looks like cornbread batter. Get all that out of there. And then your last step that you want to do before you put it in the oven is you want to tap it like that, or you can just hit it, or you can tap it like this. It's best if you slam it against the floor or the counter, and that gets all the air bubbles out of the cake, so you're not like left with like this bunch of airy space in your cake. So I'm going to bake this and I will show you guys when it's done. Okay guys, this is the finished product of the honey cake.
Okay.
It is about an inch and a half tall. You can see some air bubbles from the top. It smells a lot like honey. It's not sticky or nothing, so looks pretty good.
You see my feet in the background.
Yep. So I hope you guys try to make this recipe, and if you do, tell me how it turns out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.